or perhaps maybe towards Julie. But I feel like Julie should be playing a playmaking champion and less of a tank. So we're seeing now the Darius versus Riven matchup for sure, unless, again, that biggest mystery for Riven to be flexed elsewhere in 3 different roles. And now, you know, Trevor just going to fall back into this pick where focusing a little bit more on that single target, which just makes sense because they have the Thresh, Death Sentence, Assault and Battery, and Chain of Corruptions. So now the biggest question is, what is the pivot? Is Team Secret going for Yasuo Tatsuri? Are they going for an Orianna once more to make sure that there are enough shields, enough utility to propel Azar in the early to mid game?
Well, I can't tell you what we're looking at here, Riku, because if they lock it this season, and they do, SBTC, well, they're trying to dive in. They're running it back. This is similar, reminiscent to those first 2 game compositions, the games that they did win. And so Team Secret, well, Azar's coming back, hitting how Zakali looks like, so, wow.
That's pretty wild. We've seen Azar even during the first game up against Unero with the Renekton matchup. Perhaps we could still see it swapped around here and there. Maybe it's a Tatsuri Akali, or perhaps it's a Tatsuri Riven, vice versa as well, towards the top portion of the map with Azar. I'm excited to see this matchup. I'm excited to see this rolling because it's game 5. I mean, it's still not an elimination series, but you don't want to drop into that BO3 against one team.
Definitely not. And again, it's a special case with this best of 5 series because dropping down into the lower bracket means you're going straight into the next series. Nobody wants that right now. So these 2 teams are going to give us the best game possible. SBTC Esports and Team Secret Game 5. Casters, over to you guys.
That's right, Mika. It's Game 5 right here. And we're watching the peak of Wild Rift Esports.
Wow.
And before our eyes, we are looking at the final pick of Team Secret beating the Akali. And I wonder, is this the game-winning pick for that reverse sweep for Team Secret? Or can SBTC Esports finally nail the final point for them to proceed forward to face off against Boomerang?
One thing's for sure, if you're just joining us, we've gone rather late. If anyone maybe from Europe is waking up and just joining us, you've tuned in at the right time. This is the best game of the tournament so far, quite possibly the best series of Wild Rift I've seen so far in its competitive scene. Team Secret have clawed their way back into this Game 5, and they're positioned now for a reverse sweep if they can just take down this final game. And here's the thing they did. Here's the wild fact of life that we've ended up with. Riven, mid. Azar gets his Akali top lane.
And I really do love this Riven matchup against the Diana in the early game. You just look at great control, and I believe that that's going to be a little bit of a struggle until Julie gets his Moonfall to be able to evenly match up. Now, I want to talk to you about this because SBTC Esports, like you mentioned, look like they are the best team in SEA at the moment, and Team Secret just absolutely challenged that fact that you mentioned as well.
I also want to raise one other thing, which is that Minas is back in this pool. Minas has come back into the game.
That's
SBTC's, I don't want to say normal, I'm going to say main top laner, back here on one of his trademark champions, the Darius here, and in a series that Azar has absolutely dominated from the top lane, you have to wonder if this is just a direct result of that, and they're trying to bully Azar out as early as they can.
Yeah, and speaking of bullying right there, you see a lot of all these huge pressure mounting back into the Dragon Lane. SBTC Esports rotation has been the exact same for the past couple of matches that we saw. So they just have to ensure that they don't get effectively dive upon by SBTC Esports with a little bit more of a vertical jungle coming in from both Team Secret as well as SBTC.
One of the things we have to watch in this, well, let's narrow this game down. We have a couple of different duels that are very important in this final game. Obviously, you have the lane matchups. Azar versus Minas, Chewy versus Kiral. I'm going to say the most important matchup actually isn't in lane, though. It's the mid-jungle duo. TF and Julie are, I would say, the best mid-jungle duo in Wild Rift. They're incredible at gaining early priority. But across this series, despite Trevor oftentimes playing slow and passive on this Vi, Tatsuri has single-handedly been able to win the mid duel. That's what you need to watch during this early game. For the next 5 minutes or so till we hit the 10-minute mark, SBTC are going to be trying to land a knockout blow with TF's Lee Sin. And if they can build out an advantage, it's going to be very difficult for Team Secret. Not impossible, they've done it twice now, but very difficult for Team Secret to make this game close again.
Especially
on the flip side, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead first. I want to hear your thoughts.
On the flip side, thank you very much, Contra. The thing that Team Secret want to do is just stall out this game. Wait for the late game, wait for Chewy to come online, wait for Azure to come online, and then deliver with big, explosive team fights.
That's right. And when we look at this high skill cap champions that are picked up, we were showing signs of concern when we were just talking in the different room before we head onto the broadcast. This Akali is going to be pretty much the focal point for SBTC Esports in many of all these team fights to catch her out. And what better way to actually catch some of the members of Team Secret by bringing up that Gallo, when you open up for pretty much the first time in the entire series.
Yeah, and this is the first time that we've seen the Galio just like on the table because it's been so target banned. And Julie plays an incredible Galio, but they instead throw it down to Arkano. Both these supports, Arkano and Tamaz, have had an incredible series. But here Arkano gets the Galio, and that's going to give SBTC a little bit more teamfight power, especially during the early game. Once we leave the early game, he's just going to be a frontline, one of the most effective protective backline frontlines, so he'll try and keep Kirol alive during these messy fights. But he's not going to have as much impact, I think, as the Thresh does in team fights.
That's right. Going for pretty even trades right there. Herald for the Dragon, and that's where Dragon's Rage already being utilized. Tatsuri now gets hop on board. Moonfall drops right in as BTC got him cornered up, and it's first blood for Akino.
And Team Secret, they're caught flat-footed. They're not pushing elsewhere on the map. They're trying to match this rotation down bottom, which means they don't gain a massive advantage. Normally, when you see SBTC direct 4 players into a lane, Team Secret are able to find pressure on the opposite side of the map, able to contest in a different lane and gain a gold advantage or at least keep it paired.
Hook, everything connects, and this is where they smell blood. They will have Mina still surviving though. And Jolie just corners him up, and this is where they just allow him with a good snipe. And Minos goes down.
Where was that arrow from? Chewy, that was insane. He's been incredible on the Varus. This is the best Varus I've ever seen. And that kill means that the trade I said wasn't going to happen is going to happen. Because there's no Darius to protect this top turret. So Team Secret just step up and take the top turret. They trade even in kills. And they get a gold parity out of that crazy dangerous mid-game. They're going to be tied.
Well, it just brings me back to that moment where they connect the shockwave on the top of the arrow, and Chewy so far has been on point for most part, and this is what we really have to look out for later on in some of these team fights, because SBTC may not be able to see where the damage is coming from, and look at that one snipe. It takes out close to a quarter of health bar from TF.
Yeah, that one snipe sets the tone for this game, I think, because as I've been talking about, I think the Chewy Varus has just been unparalleled. It's really hard to find consistent damage on Varus because all of his damage is padded into these arrows that take so long to trigger. I'm watching this trap here, Azar.
Oh no, this is going to be a really good taunt coming in from Akino, but the rest of Team Secret will be able to follow up. Keeps Azar pretty much safe under the turret. Now, no objectives available, so we really have to look and set sight onto what's about to happen in the next 5 minutes, right? So, TF, now, doesn't look like he's all too comfortable going in some setups, and Team Secret so far has been able to prevent SBTC from going in for those early pickoff, and I think that's really important. Going back to your first point out there, Team Secret's just going to scale out of control if this continues to happen.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it was in the previous games where Team Secret had like an Orianna in mid. Tatsuri on the Riven, I think, is going to hit a cap of how much damage he can do. So SBTC can fight even in the late game, but if TF, I almost said his full name, if TF manages to get a lead here, he'll do what he's very good at on Lee Sin, which is have value in the late game. if he's behind coming out of this early game, this Lee Sin's not going to be very useful at all. And so Team Secret will just have essentially a player advantage, as Trevor on the Vi can still add value to late game fights, and TF won't be able to. He'll only be able to land like kicks and reposition people.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and that's also a reason why this Lee Sin is going full damage build. All he probably needs is to, of course, get his Guardian Angels up early, since he's already got the Hourglass up available. So he can be able to just look for those opening pick, turns golden, buy the rest of the time for SBTC to march up ahead, and he should be able to dash out to safety. So the other ones taking over the tank role has to be Minas, as well as, to a certain point, the degree, Akina. And here comes the hook, and everything is being thrown on board just to pick off Carol. Hero's entrance will drop upon Team Secret. Well, this is a really good spacing for Minas, but he doesn't really have the health bars to work with. Ignite dropped right in. Now Trevor pretty much caught up to secure the kill. Now it's going to be Julie on the chopping block as well. Perfect execution. We'll be able to find another one. It's only TF all alone. And what can TF do as Team Secret is looking for the turret?
They're going to get this turret. TF can't do anything. Look at those arrows. Julie comes in with the perfect flank, and he misses his engage. And Team Secret just play the team fight perfectly, as they have all series long. And they're going to take the dragon. They're going to take the fight. And they're going to take the lead in Game 5.
I feel like there's nothing that SBTC could have actually done to stop this snowball running from here on, as we look at that team fight once more.
So they're missing a huge chunk of their damage because this Diana's not here. He's dueling Azur, and Azur isn't in this fight either, but Chewie mitigates the difference. Watch this. He goes in, he casts Moonfall, and he clips Tanzuri, clips Hamas. Neither of them particularly care. And he's too late because he missed his engage. Julie wasn't able to find the value he wanted. And Azur, the other player rotating in, he finds massive value. He chases down the low HP players, he gets a kill. So Team Secret outperform SBTC in a team fight.
Oh boy.
The Vietnamese super team gets out-team fought by Team Secret, and that is massive. I saw that happening. I don't really care. It's Hamas, it's the support. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess he'll be fine. I guess that's not too huge of a shutdown goal. He does have 5 assists in general. And we saw TF got a great Dragon's Rage, and this is where Minas might be able to punish Chewie, but not going to do that with the flash available. Now the rest of Team Secret might just be able to go in for setup, but without any Minas, SBTC really calls it off. And Azar, in that particular team fight, giving so much zoning space and still managing to pick up kills out here, it was that perfect setup so that Julie, even with that Moonfall, couldn't have done anything.
Yeah, and pay attention to that as this game goes on, because Diana isn't actually a character I particularly like, because it's very difficult to do anything on the Diana if you don't land those Moonfalls. And if Julie is going to be playing from behind, as it does look like he's going to be, and he's not going to be landing those Moonfalls, then SBTC don't have enough damage to win team fights. That puts everything on Kirol, and we were talking about this Kai'Sa as a late-game team fighter. She is, but not compared to Avaris, not went from behind and not without the rest of the team there to combo. So Julie needs to step up. Julie needs to deliver the mid-lane performance that we expect from him. Otherwise, Team Secret will be going on to the upper bracket finals, the semi-final of the tournament, and SBTC will have to fight their way through EVOS, Flash Wolves, all down in the lower bracket.
Yeah, SBTC, they've met through many challenges back in Group B, and for the moment, it's TF now getting caught out with the assault battery. He flashes away. Now, he's already been able to do that, but he didn't even need to utilize that Dragon's Rage.
This would be a really fun fact. Every team that placed top 4 at the Summer Super Cup is currently in the lower bracket, except for SBTC. So if SBTC lose here, I think it is a very clear statement that SEA as a region has just kept getting better. Team Secret have improved so much. Buriram, who won the first match today over EVOS, have improved so much that the best teams from the last time these teams met internationally can't keep up anymore.
Yeah, and that skilling is just going to hit a higher level from each tournament that they do play. And Team Secret, just look at their adaptability. They so far have been able to pick up very quickly, even with deficit. This is by far one of the greatest stories to be ever told if they can get this win.
A reverse sweep to get further than any team from the Philippines has ever gotten before. TF doesn't get caught. Every moment this game plays out like this, that this game is a slow, static farming game, is good for Team Secret. Because they get so much more value from the late game. Uh-oh.
Oh, this is not good. Not good at all. They find a catch onto Trevor, but he does buy a little bit more time. He has to gargle and immediately slam and dunk Julie under the turret. Hero's entrance being utilized as well on Kino by spacing, but Tatsuri now caught up. Now it will be the rest of SBTC trying to find the rest of Team Secret, but Team Secret juggles them drowned. Now it's all about Azar all the way to the backline. TF does not get sniped. He will find that room for Kiro to pop up with a double kill. This might just be a beautiful triple. Is it a quad? Yes, it is. SBTC secures a pentakill on Kiro.
Carroll with a pentakill! Kicks Team Secret in the ground! And he's going to be able to walk down this mid lane, take a turret, TF solos the dragon, and SBTC have tied up this game 5. They're not done yet. They are the expected heirs to Southeast Asia, and then here to take the crown from the upper bracket.
Oh boy, TJ, this fight is absolute madness. You just see how well Team Secret was juggling with the pressure, but it's all about positioning here that deterred them from getting anything done.
And Kirill just hovers at the very back of this fight, dancing away from Azur, who can't reach him. And the second that Azur goes through this entire fight without finding value, and you also see Chewy there not being able to contribute because that fight's so far away from him, Kirill is just perfectly set up to clean up all these low HP bars and walk away with a win. That is the Dragon converted whilst we were in that replay, and SBTC now can fight on even terms, even a slight advantage because they have that Drake. Team Secret have to play perfectly in these upcoming team fights. It will come down to team fight after team fight here.
It's massive. Just look at the goal difference between both of the marksmen out there. First, putting the kills aside, and speaking of kills here, they're looking for one. Team Secret just locks onto Julie, but the Hero's entrance, that's where they will be able to buy more of all these rune. And Trevor will have to take shield out there. Tatsuri gets slammed, but the rest of Team Secret will be able to follow up as well. Perfect execution. He finds one, but Kino takes it down though. And Trevor is running for his life. The rest of Team Secret, they won't get anything other than Julie out of this skirmish.
Kirill again, hard focus down, but he kites and he survives, and so does TF. TF teleports back. SBTC are starting to burn the Baron. There's no jungler up to steal. They've just got to do it with an arrow.
This is still right here. The Baron's dropping pretty low. SBTC Esports smites it away. Here comes the Baron power play for SBTC Esports. TJ, they might have heard us talk a lot about Team Secret with a reverse sweep. They're still here to play, and they might just be able to end the game here if they get some great advantages with the Baron.
What a performance in terms of mental strength from SBTC to be able to lose 2 games in a row like that. Heartbreakers, and then come back into game number 5 of this series and play like this from behind. Yes, still here to play and win team fights. Yes, Kirill is online. He has so much gold right now, 17,000, the most in this game by 4,000. He's gonna absolutely wipe the floor with anyone who steps up into him. He's completed his entire build, Contra.
And you look at the rest, they're on turret and 4th items. They're not even anywhere close to this Kaisa.
This is the biggest Kaisa I've ever seen, Contra. It's like a Statue of Liberty-sized Kaisa. Kirill's huge.
It might just be Birch of Defy. And that's where they want to commit to the team fight, holding Team Secret to the choke point. And they're running down, locking them into the jungle. And they will find their way out of the box. Meanwhile, mid is being pushed. The turrets will be crushed. SBTC now leaves them with pretty much most of the inhibitors intact.
If they don't kill Kirill, this game is unwinnable. and Kirill's finished his build with a GA.
This might just be a little bit more of pressure mounting to Team Secret. What can they do? That shuriken almost lands onto Aquino. He cannot really move right in. Chains of Corruption now drops onto Minas, but that's not the target that they want. Trapper just finding a little bit more spacing here. Members of SBTC, they're having their health bars are being chunked down as well. So this is hard for them to do much. Now, next objective, Elder Drake up available, but SBTC's got to reset.
2 inhibitors gone. This is very difficult for Team Secret to turn around. They're behind 8,000 gold, and almost all of that 8,000 is on Kirill, and they're going to have to fight right now for this Elder to stay in this game. It is all about Kirill. Can they assassinate him? Can Azur assassinate Kirill at the back of this team fight? Otherwise, I fear this game, this heroic run from Team Secret might be over.
Not just about yet. If they do get that important pick onto Kirill, this may result into something, but needing to pop the Guardian Angels first is going to be a tall task at the moment, so long as the front line of SBTC still stands strong.
Here we go. Elder focused in. SBTC zoning, sending their front line forward, and they find the catch.
And this is the rest of Team Secret trying to follow it up. Now the rest of SBTC won't dunk them down. Miras goes in for the double dunk. Walazar getting cornered up. It's a double kill going in for the Darius. TF now shuts down another member off of Team Secret. This is the game-winning fight that SBTC has been waiting for. They shut the lights before the eyes of Team Secret and may be able to claim the Nexus if Team Secret could not defend this one. What can they do as the rest of SBTC will knock Team Secret down and will book their